Ooh, no, I hate that. I hate. But she's sassy. I like her. Oh my god, like I just wanted to cry right there. Getting overwhelming. She annoys me. Well, good morning, friends. Welcome back to Pages in Chaos. It is 3 days into April. It is 2 days into my spring break, and I have a long list of things that I need to get done this week, week and a half, or want to get done. But I figured for today, I'm having a little bit of a slow start, so I'm going to get started on my book of the month picked for April's prompt. There was actually 2, so I'm going to get started with one of them. So I have a lot of things to get done today. I am going to do my nails. While I do that, I'm going to get started on reading. And for the start, I'm going to go with Nugget's pick, and that is The Love Elixir of Augusta Stern. And this is about Augusta, who is forced to confront the decisions that she made in her 20s after coming across somebody who broke her heart 60 years earlier. And this is a dual timeline where she is going to explore the choices that she made. And I just have a feeling this is going to be a little bit of a emotional book. I've heard a lot of great things about this. It's got some magical realism. I'm excited to get started on this. So I am going to read for a little bit, and then I'm going to switch over to listening while I do my nails. I am also going to get my hair done later, around 2:30, because it is in desperate need of my roots touch up, and I just want to, trim it up and things like that. I'm going to get started today, and we'll see how much of this I can get done. And then once I finish this, I am going to start with Misty's pick. So I'm only 3 chapters in, and already I don't like this guy, Irving, whatever the heck his name is. Irvin Rivkin, that's his name. I don't know. I'm sure there's still like a lot that we have to learn about him, and I'm sure there's some like big reason, that misunderstanding, something like that, for why he broke Augusta's heart all those years ago. But like, just their first interaction, it's like as if he doesn't understand why she would be so upset to see him. It's like, oh, don't be like that. Oh, let's catch up. Oh, this and that. Like, ooh, no, I hate that. I hate that. So let's just see, what's gonna happen. I did switch to the audio because I am prepping my nails. I am gonna get that done. And then I gotta head out to go get this all fixed and done. So I don't know. We'll see how much more I can get done today. Okay, so I'm up to about halfway through chapter 11. I finished my nails. I got these cute little purple, like a purple ombre with some little daisies on them. My cuticles are horrible though, because I haven't taken care of them for like over a week. So yeah, we're just gonna let that be, and I'm gonna try to moisturize those some more over the next couple of days. But anyway, I like 80-year-old Augusta. She's sassy. She's funny. There's a scene where she comes in contact with somebody, like she's introduced to somebody by Irving. I think her name is Vera. I don't even know. And I don't even know what like the situation is, but like she just jumps to like jealousy, but like not like outwardly like annoying jealousy, but like you could tell she's jealous. And she has these these candy bars because Irving is like sick or something like that, and she just like throws them at him for like, she's like, here. And then she just walks away. And I'm like, but the way like it's set up in this scene, like I'm not explaining it well, but it was just like, oh man, that's so funny. But she's sassy. I like her. 20-year-old or 18-year-old Augusta, not so much. Like clearly, obviously when you're that young, you're got things to learn, but I'm hoping to see a little bit more of that from 18-year-old Augusta. Like the sassiness, the like outgoingness. I mean, I know at this point, we're still kind of just getting to know her at that age. I do like her Aunt Esther, or her great aunt. It's her father's aunt, I think. Yeah, like her father's aunt. So her great Aunt Esther. And I think she just came home from Russia. Like she spent time in Russia and she just came back to New York. to help take care of the family. And, you know, it's just a matter of like the tradition versus like the modern, right? The pharmacy. And she's like getting in the way of her father's pharmacy patients. But I don't know. So like we got some like little elements of magical realism, right? Like this magical chicken soup that's gonna heal everyone. Obviously we're gonna get a little bit more of that, I hope. But I feel like just like the hints of the magical realism is okay. Like I'm not looking for like an all-out fantasy. That's not why I picked this up. So I'm just hoping for that to continue with like the little hints of, hey, is this real, or is this just, you know, her aunt using like older traditional methods, this and that, and that's why she's clashing with Solomon, her father. So it is cute so far. So it's a little bit after 1:30, so I'm gonna get ready to leave because I have to, you know, make a couple stops, and then when I get back, my hair will be nice and refreshed, and I'm gonna get started on some other things for the day that I have to do, although by the time I get back, it's gonna be a little bit later in the day, so I don't know how much I'm gonna get done today. Okay, so I just got home. I know you can't really see the color in my hair right now because of the lighting, but yeah, I just got a little trim and cleaned it up. I always love a good refresh. But anyway, you guys, look at that. I am already halfway through. I'm up to like chapter 26, about 165 pages in. And oh man. So first of all, this is such a fast-paced read. Despite the fact that we don't know a lot about what's happened in the past yet. We have a lot of like background story going on between her Aunt Esther and Augusta, and interacting with clients or customers, and you know, the question of whether or not what she's making them is actually magical, right? So that's interesting to see their dynamic, and I'm really enjoying seeing that dynamic. She's not as spunky in her timeline in the 1920s, in 1924, not yet. Like I'm assuming that's coming like later on, especially after Irving, you know, gets up and leaves. So her 1987 timeline, she's like a few days away from turning 80. She is very like outgoing, outspoken, spunky. I love her. I love Augusta. So Vera, we're introduced to a character named Vera. Let's just say I don't like her. She's annoying. And it's funny seeing, like we're seeing drama that you kind of normally see play out in like a high school setting in this retirement home setting. You know, there's a scene at a barbecue where somebody tries to cut in, where Irving tries to cut in on a dance with Augusta and the person that she's with, and it just turns into food flying everywhere. It's just like a whole big thing, and I find that so funny and so hilarious. We have somebody else from their past, from Irving and Augusta's past, that came into the picture. And I find it a little strange, like, come on, like 3 people who all knew each other in Brooklyn when they were kids, all in the same retirement home. Like, I get that Florida is, you know, where you go when you retire, sometimes, you know, especially a lot of New Yorkers. But I just find that funny that like 3 people, all from this town in Brooklyn, ended up at the same retirement home. But whatever. Can you guys hear Nugget? He just ate. I don't know what's going on. And that was Misty just running into the window. Anyway, so despite the fact that we're not getting a lot of what actually happened yet between Augusta and Irving, we're getting a lot of backstory. It is still moving pretty fast. So we're getting, I love seeing the dynamic between Augusta and her Aunt Esther, although her aunt calls her Goldie. Love that. And I love that she's learning from her and not just like questioning what she's being told to do, like what her path always was, but like clearly it's a matter of trying, like she's trying to incorporate it. So like she really wants to learn both ways and find out like, is Aunt Esther really like making these spells and potions, whatever. But I just love their dynamic, and I love seeing them together. We get a situation that is clearly going to be playing a big role in this soon. It is 1924, Brooklyn, New York, Prohibition, New York. So, you know, you have some elements of, I don't want to necessarily say the mafia, but like it's there, right? Obviously there's something going on there. So that's going to play a bigger role, I have a feeling. Well, not I have a feeling, like it's said that pretty much, like, you know, that something happened. I just want to find out. Like, I hate, right now we're at a point where Augusta and Irving are not talking in the present timeline, in her, like, current timeline. And I don't like it. Like, their dynamic is so changed. Not that their dynamic was good before this, but at least they were, like, on okay terms. Like, I just want him to sit her down and tell her what happened. She does not have to accept it. She does not have to forgive him. She does not have to even want to talk to him ever again after that. But I want her to just stop being stubborn and sit down and hear him out and hear what he has to say. Mostly just because I want to know what happened. Because she's under the impression, and this isn't a spoiler because it's on the, you know, the back, but she's under the impression that, you know, they had something and he just was seeing somebody else behind her back, and then one day got married and left. What happened? Like, I don't want to wait any longer. So I just got home. I picked myself up something to eat. I am going to eat for a little bit, and I don't know. You okay over there, Nugget? He's running around. She's rolling around in the window. I can't with these cats. Okay, so last night I did not read much more. In fact, I crashed hard by like 8:30. And then today was just like very off day for me. I woke up, I did Saturday morning momentum with Kat, and everybody that she has for her Saturday crew, and I got some content recorded, things like that. And then I was going to get some reading in before I went over to my parents for dinner, and it was just a very off day. My allergies and my sinuses are killing me because the trees have all started blooming early because of the crazy like 80-degree weather that we had for like a week straight. It's just been chaos. My neck, I keep having these issues with like my neck and into my trap. So I didn't sleep well. I'm in a lot of pain. So I'm about to go throw a heating pad on. Hopefully that'll work. So reading did not get done yesterday or today. I did listen to a little bit of a chapter on my way to my parents, and I'm going to try, once I get the heating pad on, to get a little bit more done tonight and hopefully finish by tomorrow. But I do have some thoughts. So I don't remember how much I said in the last check-in, but as of right now, we keep going back and forth, and we're getting closer to find out what actually happened with Augusta and Irving all those years ago, right? So in 1924, I think I said this already, like we're dealing with, you know, 1920s, Prohibition, Brooklyn, New York. So not only do we have, you know, the Prohibition stuff and the fact that they're a pharmacy, her father's a pharmacy, so he is allowed to prescribe whiskey and certain things like that as like, you know, medicinal. But we have well-connected, right? Like the mafia, not so much mafia, like, but connected people in this book, okay? And so like there's a whole situation where Irving helps out the child of somebody who is well connected. Let's just say that person comes back a little bit later, I think like a year or two later, in the 1924 timeline or 1920s timeline. And so now I'm getting to the point where I'm pretty much seeing what's going to happen here, the prediction. Like, right. I see where we're going with this. I still don't understand where Nathaniel comes in. So Nathaniel was the third person from that group of who they knew when they were young. I don't understand where he comes in yet, because Irving made a comment that he doesn't like him because he made him lose something all those years ago. So I don't know what that is yet. Obviously, I will not spoil that, and I'm also not going to spoil anything else as far as like where this is going, the connection. But I am very clearly seeing and predicting, but maybe my prediction is off, what's going to happen. I am going to see what I can get read. I'm very uncomfortable right now, so I might just pop in the audio. It's only 6:30, like 6:45, but I'm at the point where I just think I need to go into bed. Hi, Misty. Say hi. Yeah. What's the matter? Don't worry, I'm going to read your book next, all right? She knows that I haven't been feeling good, so she's been very clingy. She's been, like, basically purring on this shoulder. Like, usually she'll sit in my lap, but she's very specifically laying up here and purring so loud. I think she's trying to heal me. But she's also an attention-seeking little baby, so that could be it, too. But, yeah. Okay, well, it's been a few days since I checked in. That's because I've been sick. So, Saturday, I went over to my parents. Sunday was Easter. Hey, baby girl. Misty's here. Say hi. And I got home Sunday night not feeling good. And then Monday, I kind of laid low, did a few things, read a little bit more. And then by Tuesday, I was out. I developed a fever. I thought it was just a sinus infection. So I look and sound horrible. But I'm feeling a little bit better today. Not too much, but a little bit. So I'm going to try to read some more. I'm about that much in, almost done. Last I left off, we find out Irving is about to, so we got to the point where Irving and Augusta like have their first little kiss, and they start dating or seeing each other, whatever it's called in the 1920s, whatever. And so when she tells her father, oh my goodness. Like, first of all, she doesn't tell anybody right away, other than, like, I think her sister. And she finally tells her father. And her father just looks at her and is like, I kind of already knew, because, like, the way you look at him is the way I looked at your mother, or something like that. And I was like, oh my God. Like, I just wanted to cry right there. So we got to that point. Now we're back in the 1987 timeline. And he's about to confront. I don't want to say confront, because I don't feel like it's going to be like confrontational, but he's talking to Nathaniel. So we're about to find out what that situation is about, and why he's so angry at Nathaniel and why he hates him. I have a feeling it's going to now start to progress very quickly, because we have a scene, I'm not going to say it because it's a little spoilery, where Irving's wife, or like would be soon wife, into the picture again. And so, yeah, I have a feeling I can predict where this is going to go, but then again, who knows? I actually think I'm going to throw on the audio, though, because this sinus headache is so bad, and the pressure, that I don't think I could concentrate on reading with my eyes. So I'm going to throw on the audio and maybe just kind of relax a little bit. Okay, so two things. One, I forgot to mention, I really like her friend Shirley from the retirement home. She's so funny. She's sassy. I love her. Also, so we just found out what happened and what Nathaniel took from Irving. That's all I'm gonna say. But there's like something behind it. But yeah, so let's see. I don't know what else is gonna happen now. Okay, so I'm still not feeling the best. Fever broke, but still kind of all stuffed up. But I did finish my first book for my vault this month, and that is The Love Elixir of Augusta Stern. And I know last I left off with you guys,
We were just starting to find out what happened 60 years ago between Augusta and Irving and how Nathaniel came into play with all of this. So I definitely enjoyed this book so much. There were a few things that I felt like at the end were a little bit rushed. Like once we finally got Augusta telling her story and what happened, and then Irving telling his side of the story about what happened. One, it broke my heart. Two, it was a little bit predictable, but that's okay. Like, it not in an unsatisfying way. But I would have liked to have seen a little bit more about Augusta's life, or just like a little bit more explanation as to like what it was like after she went to pharmacy school, things like that. Like she mentions it very briefly, some of the struggles and things like that. It was brought up, but I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of that. I did feel like at some point that a little bit of the backstory was drawn out just a little bit too much. Whereas if we could have like shifted maybe a little bit, or even just added a little bit more, because this is fairly a short book. It's only 300 pages. Like without it being too drawn out, I would have liked to seen a little bit more about the in-between, a little bit, like not enough to draw it out. But I would have loved to have seen more about Augusta's struggle as being a woman in the pharmacy field, because she does mention it when she comes back as a student in her father's store, and how people just did not want to be served or have their medications mixed by a woman pharmacist. Like they didn't see her as any value, right? She was just somebody who should help out around the store. So I would have liked to seen a little bit exploration of that, even though I know that wasn't the point of the story. Like the point of the story was the love elixir. I enjoyed this one. It was a little bit predictable about what happened with Irving all those years ago and why he chose what he chose. Although I was a little bit shocked at how that came about slightly. I thought it was one thing and it turned out to be something else, but still along the same, same plane. I was a little nervous about this though, because this isn't like usually my go-to. I love the magical realism. I love the dual timeline going back, like the little historical, the 1920s. I would have liked, a little bit more like fleshed out in the older timeline though. But that's just me, I guess, because I like, the historical stuff. But yeah. So I really did enjoy this, and I think this was done very well. So now I am going to pick up the second book that was chosen for this month, and that is Immortal Consequences. I think this one might take a little bit longer to get through because it is a chunker, but I'm excited for this one.
Okay, well, it's been a while since I checked in. Last time I checked in, I was still very sick. My spring break was not exactly the best because I had a fever and bad sinus infection for most of it. I did finish the Love Elixir of Augusta Sturm, and I wanted to start my next book like immediately after, but work has been so crazy this week. It was our first full week back. I had my student teaching internship lesson today. Today's Friday for my library and information science classes. I have 2 more electives to do over the summer, but like this was the big key, like, oh my goodness, like ending type of thing. I still have a lot of work to do with it, so I have to write up like my journal entries for all the things that I have done throughout this semester. But let's just say it was crazy. I had to create a whole project, and then I did a research lesson. I think it went pretty well. There were some things that I kind of fumbled a little bit on, but that was due mostly to nervousness. Not nervousness out of actually teaching, because I've been a teacher for 13 years in the classroom, but more about just like the specific topic. And the fact that even though it's my own assistant principal that was writing it up, it's going to my professor. So she doesn't know my teaching style. Like my assistant principal knows my teaching style for the past 13 years. So that was very nerve-wracking. But now that it is Friday, excuse the noise outside. My neighbors and their kids are outside enjoying the beautiful weather and playing. And it is Friday, so no school tomorrow. But it is Friday now, and after this long week, I'm giving myself a little bit of reprieve and break. I'm not going to rush right into doing a whole bunch of work because I do still have a little bit more time to finish up all the final things. So with that being said, I'm going to stay up a little bit later tonight, and I am going to get started on book 2 for this month, and that is Immortal Consequences. Okay, so I haven't started the book yet. I know I said last night I was going to start it, and I actually kind of fell asleep a little early. Today I had a tech guy come in. I needed him to check my heating system and things like that. I was getting system malfunction. And now I'm going to do a little bit of running around. So I'm going to pop in the audio. I have some returns to the library that I got to make. And then I'm going to try to stop by the little free library by my house to see if there's any room to drop off a couple of more books. Went to the library, returned my library books. I went to Kohl's, did all my returns. I went to 2 little free libraries, actually. I found another one that is fairly close to my house. And this one was actually really cute. And I really liked it. So it was very small, so I didn't want to put too much in there. I think I only put 2 books in that one, 2 or 3. And then the one that I usually go to was very, very packed. So I put 1 small book in there that was able to fit. That was it. I didn't, you could still move things around. Couldn't, didn't jam pack that because I hate that. Like, I hate when people just shove books in there and clearly there's no room. So I made sure to not do that. I also stopped and got myself a poke bowl for a late lunch / early dinner. And I did start on audio, Immortal Consequences. So we just got an introduction right now. I think I'm on like chapter 4, chapter 5. So I only got an introduction to 4 of the characters. There's 6 people that I assume are going to be the main focus because it is the competition. So I'm assuming these are going to be the 6 people that are chosen for the competition. Although they don't know yet that it's the competition, they're all talking to each other and interacting as if it was still the traditional 10-year one person chosen to show off their skills and their talents, not the competition between the 6. So, right now we're just getting an intro to all the different people. So I am going to eat and then I'll read a little bit more. That's where we are. The cats are currently fighting right now because they think just because I walk in the door, that means it's time for them to eat, even though it is about 2 hours too early for them to eat. So that's probably what you hear in the background. So you know the saying, don't judge a book by its cover? Yeah. I know the last time I checked in, I had just started this and then life got busy. I have been reading it and listening to it. I am more than halfway through. That was Nugget, by the way. I'm bored. I'm very bored. There's not a lot going on. I mean, we are 50% through, more than 50% through. There's only been 2 challenges and they're boring. There's no excitement. Like the first one, I thought there was a little bit of excitement or like it was leading up to it. But like a majority of it feels like them just going through a maze. And then like the last couple of minutes before they go back, there's like a little bit of action. And then they don't even know why they chose to do the decennial or however the heck you say as a competition this time until after the first trial. And then like the headmaster explains it like, hey, this is why we're doing it this way to the people. And there were 12 people that were chosen. So there's 12 people that are chosen. We're just following the 6. However, we're following them through the viewpoints of these 6 characters, but there's still so many other characters that are referenced or talked to or involved. And it's like getting overwhelming. If you've been around before, you know that I'm not a huge fan of like too many different points of view. Something like, what's his name? The Thursday Murder Club, Richard Osman, or however you say his name. I know he does that a lot. So like, I'm losing track. I don't really feel connected to these characters. Like I like Masika, I think that's how you say her name. I'm interested to find out her story. I'm interested to find out Ren's story and kind of August. I really don't care about the other characters, really. They're just not enough not interesting. I really thought that I was going to like Emilio and Olivia and Emilio. I thought I was gonna like Emilio, but I just don't like have a connection to him. So I don't know. I read a lot of reviews and they're polarized and they're mixed. A lot of 5 stars, and then there's a few that are kind of like lower end that say the same thing that I'm kind of saying. Like the beginning is just kind of bleh, but they did say that the last like quarter of the book is where all the excitement happens. So I'm gonna stick it out. I'm gonna see what's going on. I mean, that cover is beautiful, so I kind of was like, oh, this is gonna be good. You know, I love the idea of like a school, not a finishing school, but like a boarding school for the dead, you know? But like even this, it says like 6 rivals, 1 victor. It's not, it's 12 rivals. So like we just got done with the second trial and we just got a little bit more from Silas, who is the headmaster, like a little bit more of the piece of the puzzle. But it's like, I don't know, guys, there's no excitement. I usually like competition stories, but like, I don't know, like even the descriptions of the actions that are happening, like it's not a lot of action scenes. It's kind of just very descriptive in my opinion. But I'm hopefully going to finish this soon. I'm hoping that it gets to the point where I could just power through it. I don't know if I'm going to pick up the second book. Like the ending of this has to be like mind-blowing for me to invest in the rest. I don't know if it's a full series or just a duology, but yeah. And we're getting little glimpses of their stories, of their secrets, of how they died, of what happened in their lives. Right now, the only 2 that I'm really interested in is finding out Maseka's story and Ren's story. I have no connection to Irene or Irene. I see, guys, I don't even remember their full names, the way it's going. She annoys me. She's like your typical, like, I had a hard life and I'm gonna not let anybody in and blah, blah, blah. Well, I feel like a wet rat. It is pouring outside. I didn't realize how bad it was. I went to Kohl's to do some Amazon returns and then grabbed myself something to eat on the way home. And I'm freezing. Oh my God. I can't wait for it to actually like warm up and stay warm and not this back and forth. But anyway, God, guys, I don't know. There was like a quick scene that I listened to on the way to work the other day where it's like, we kind of got a little bit of a, oh my God, something just happened with August and Ren. That seems like it might like come into play later on. I don't know, or if it's just like, you know, a big deal because of what happened or what was done. But other than that, like nothing really happens. Like we got one, I don't remember if it happened before or after this, but like one thing. So like all of this is about some shadow magic that is like the enemy of Blackwood Academy. Like this magic that is dangerous, that is evil, and like all of this is supposed to be coming into play as to what these people are trying to fight against in this in the afterlife. But like there's 2 like references to it. Like there's a bunch of references to it. And I don't want to give anything away, but like we find out a little bit, like not a huge amount, but just a little bit as to why certain things are going the way they're going in reference to the shadow magic. We get like 2 incidents with a specific person and then like 2 other like weird things with a voice and somebody else. And that's about it. Otherwise, it is just a completely boring string of descriptions. We're not even really finding out about, you know, any of the 6 main characters' secrets or how they got to Blackwood. Like they make references like, if they only knew what happened in real life and how I got here. But like we have 130 pages left. We have absolutely nobody's backstory. Like we have a vague reference to Irene being from like a tough home. Like we have a vague reference of Emilio's last time he was at a party situation, like, but nothing's actually happening, and it's making me so angry, and I know I'm getting very worked up right now. I am just like, what the heck? They're supposed to be finding out some more information. The headmaster gave them a week before, like, or no, they gave each other like a week to try to figure out something that happened before they go to the headmaster to tell them what they saw. But like, they're not doing anything. Like, there was one scene in a library where we kind of found something, but we didn't get a chance to finish reading the information on it, and then something else about like some weird thing that happened with another person, and it's just like there's nothing. It's like all description but nothing actually happening. Ugh, it's getting me so angry. So now there's like one scene where we get that might actually be something interesting coming up. Like where somebody is starting to figure out like there's something crazy and weird going on here. I have 130 pages left. Like, I don't want to finish, but I'm gonna, just because there's only 130 pages left, and I just gotta know if anything actually happens. I don't know. But as of right now, this is a dud. Even if the ending turns out to be like amazing, it was not worth the torture of the first 3/4 of the book. I mean, I can't see the ending of this being so incredibly like gripping and exciting that I need to go through another 500-page book of just boring descriptions before we get to like something exciting. Because if that's what this is about, like, it has to be really amazing, this ending, for me to even consider picking up the next book. And if I did, if that second book doesn't like grip me within, I want to say, the first like 50 to 100 pages, I'm done. And I kind of wish that I just DNF'd it. But again, like the reviews that I'm seeing said like, oh yeah, a little bit of the beginning was descriptive and boring, but like it gets really exciting at page 370 something out of 500. That's a long time to slog through a book to get to something exciting. I just want to be done with this, so I'm not going to let it go past this weekend. I'm going to finish this book at some point this weekend because I'm done. I'm in bed. Just go with it. But I finished. And I have thoughts. There were a lot of twists at the end. And it was like almost as if the entire book was just so boring that at the last minute she just decided to throw everything at it to see what stuck. Like interesting stuff that could have been played out so much better throughout the entirety of the book. The book itself was just so boring that everything that happened at the end, like there was no lead up to it. There was no intertwining of it into the plot. A very small, tiny hint of like one piece throughout like some comments. But again, they were just so vague. So yeah, I don't know. But I'm going to bed. I'm exhausted. I just had to finish tonight because I couldn't drag this book on for one more day. Right, so here are my final thoughts on Immortal Consequences. It wasn't for me. It had so much potential. Like, I love the concept, but it was boring. There was a lot of like just randomness, drawn out scenes. And I do know that this was, I believe, her debut novel. Immortal Consequences is her first novel. It is her debut novel. It just wasn't for me. I mean, I know there are a lot of different opinions on Goodreads and Storygraphs. Some gave it 5 stars, some gave it 4 stars, and then others were kind of like on the same page as me. I mean, there were people that were like brutal. I just felt no connection to the characters. I do kind of like the last like little bit. Like I want to say it was like about 50 pages maybe. It was exciting, but it was predictable. Very predictable. And I don't know if it's enough of a pull to have me read the second book. I don't even know if the second book is out yet. I think it's coming out like sometime this year, or like I want to say early 2027. I don't remember. Like I said, debut novel. I could only hope that, you know, things will get better. I might read the second book. I don't know, maybe. I kind of have a little bit of interest of knowing like what happens in terms of like, I can't give too much away, but like, you know, the two different like groups or orders or whatever. So maybe I'll get it from the library to read the second one. This I really enjoyed. The Love Elixir of Augusta Stone, I gave 4 stars to. This was, it was nice, short and sweet. I loved seeing Augusta's story and like where she ends up. Was it predictable? I think so, but you know what? It really was good. So Nugget's pick was really good. So I don't mean to shame Misty here, and I'm not. She tried. But I think this book was just like, you know, more comfortable for her to sit on, and that's why she chose it. Well, there you have it. Those are the 2 books that I read this month for the Book of the Month Vault series. And as always, I'd love to hear all your thoughts down below, especially on Immortal Consequences. If you read that, I'd love to hear your thoughts. But let me know down in the comments. Have you read either one of these books? Do you have any thoughts? Give me everything that you got, and make sure you check back at the beginning of May to see what my prompt is and what book I chose for May. And if you just want to let me know that you were here but you're a little too shy to comment, then leave me some type of flower emoji down in the comments, because we have the pretty flowers on this book, and then of course, you know, you got all the flowers on this book. Well, that's all I have for now. Bye.